وذكر فإن الذكرى تنفع المؤمنين.
Yes, right?
Let me ask you a question. What do you think, or what do you think about evolution?
What do you think about evolution? So our perspective of me personally, or as Muslims generally?
As a Muslim, or as you
I'll
wish.
give you me personally. I completely reject the idea of evolution. Me personally, based on my research, I completely deny the idea of evolution. I've seen the amount of fraud that they play and the games that they play to try to justify theory of evolution scientifically. In their own magazines, they will claim lies that the same magazine would refute, right? That's what I'm going to say, right? So this is my perspective, my personal perspective when it comes to the theory of evolution. But Muslims, some Muslims, what they try to do, first they say the Qur'an and Hadith, they do not have anything clear about animals, right? Not evolving, animals, not human beings, right? And then you have some people who even try to make an explanation for human beings here and there, right?
Okay.
Even though I don't agree with those people, but I'm telling you, some people do try to reconcile between certain things in the theory of evolution. What I'm trying to say basically is, it's not like you have to wholesale reject evolution, to be honest. You know what I'm trying to say to you, right? Yeah. Well, my position is,
I'm talking to you, so let's go with your position.
Okay, that's my position. Right? I wholesale reject it based on my research, based on looking at certain people who made different series explaining the evidences, right? So, like for example,
so let's say you see, I don't know, 30 different breeds of dog. Do you think that all of those breeds came from the creation, or a human?
That's not necessarily what evolution is.
No, but
like speciation, same for example, two different species mating with one, or two close species mating with one another, producing another species. No one is rejecting that. Can be observable. Like
so we can modify a species.
Horse and a donkey mole, right? A horse and a donkey have an intercourse and producing a mole. That's an observable thing that no one rejects.
Okay.
Right? But the point we're making is evolution does not. It's not about the idea of the same species. It's the idea of one species.
Indeed. This
is the problem.
I mean, that's the extreme. Initially, the evolution means that you have one species and it starts to transition, and you have a deviation until it creates
a fish, right? That starts walking. And then
you
have all of the creation today.
You start from one species and it slowly starts to transition until it becomes
from a cell.
Yeah.
But where does the cell come from? How does it come into existence? You know the scientific answer?
I watched a few documentaries and it's not.
I don't know. That's it.
It's not. It's I don't know. It's I don't know.
They say I don't know.
Okay, but
they say look. I'll tell you what they say. They say thousands of years.
Yeah.
It was a sea, and a thunder hit the sea, and we happened to produce a cell, right? And that cell happened to multiply and become a fish, and that fish.
My thing is, I'm okay with saying I don't know or we don't know, because these are very complex answers.
No.
Or is it we don't know yet?
No. So basically, to have a theory, you have to explain the beginning of the theory. You cannot play this game. I cannot look, because they don't say I don't know in so many things which they do not know. They claim, okay, there was something called the Homo erectus, even though they have no evidence for the Homo erectus. Zero. What they do, they bring different bones from different animals from different things, and they say we do not know. They could be bones from different things, and they put certain bones together, and then they draw a picture. And this is the Homo, and they say, oh, this was the Homo erectus. Look, and the Homo erectus was walking here, and they made the non-tendrils, right? And they, come on, how do you know this nonsense there? Look, this is the whole theory. What I'm telling you, this is what the theory of evolution is. It's a bunch of hocus pocus. Look for similar types of genes. They discard a huge number of genes that are not in line in the study. They say to you in the study, in the paper, we discarded X amount of genes. That's why they did the same experiment with the banana, 50% or 60%. Just depends on which collection do you use and which method do you use to say this gene is in exact correlation with this gene, right? Yeah. So because they use different ways and they ignore so much of the genes that are not in correlation, they discard it completely. They come to you with this lie that, oh, it's 99%, or by the way, 199, 198.
Yeah, I pulled the number out of my head because,
No, but there's two. One says 98, one says 99. Okay. It's not your problem. Okay. It's their problem, right? Why they do this? Why? They have to try to convince a person like you or the layman. Look, we have evidence. The genes are the evidence. The fossil record is the evidence. You look at the fossil record. They say to you.
No, but when I see bears, let's say I see 5 different species of bears. You have the grizzly, the polar, the black bear. I don't know. To me, they look very, very much the same, and it wouldn't be crazy to think that they come from the same place.
It's very simple, and it is very. it would make sense to come from the same. They come from the same creator. When you look at iPhone, look. When you look at iPhone, different models of iPhone, they all look alike. They come from the same manufacturer, right? So there's no problem that they come from different. They come from the same manufacturer. But let me even answer you. What you call now is called homology. Homology has been debunked. Homology is that the similarities are due to common ancestors. It's what users said. That's the term for it. Scientific term.
Okay.
It's called homology. Homology has been debunked. Why? There are many reasons for it. For example, saber-toothed tiger. You can Google it. Saber-toothed tiger is a tiger with saber tooth.
Yeah. The
It
one
does
from
not
the
come
Ice
from
Age.
any tiger ancestorship, according to them, the theory. Right? So similarities are not due to common ancestry anyways. And that's why when you open their books, they say similarities are due to common ancestry. They say the human being is the common ancestor of a horse and a mouse. Where is the homology? Where is the similarity?
Yeah, no, I mean,
where is the similarity between me and a mouse? You know?
Well, if you think about it, I mean, you have two eyes, you have a mouth, you have a stomach.
You look like a mouse.
I think that I say that
Horse.
I'm saying that we have many similarities to them. Yeah, I mean,
No. Look, we are very different as well.
yeah, but
It's just because we have the same what we call attributes.
yeah, but
Like hands.
no, my point is, if you are, I don't know, as an alien from another universe, and I come here, or just I see these two things, and both of them have four limbs, a mouth, two eyes. We're different, but at the same time,
they look completely different. Right?
no, we are completely. But at the same time, don't you? I mean, we have a nose, we have ears, we have eyes. You say that's insane.
No problem. But just because you have this is not what homology is. What you were using. Homology is that there is similarities in the structure.
Yeah, I think that there are different levels of similarities.
That's why you were saying different tigers, because they look the same, right?
Yeah.
Very close.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there are different levels.
Exactly. I'm using the same argument against you. I'm saying if this was the case, then why are they saying we come with the same common ancestor with a rat, a mouse, and a rat, and a horse?
I mean,
you have to be consistent.
Ultimately, I think if we all come from one cell, I think that you will
And that's
start
why
much.
when we go back, we have no answer for the cell, where the cell came from. Now look, the point is, any evidence you bring me forward now, I'll debunk it. That's it, one by one, right? Because I've done the research, right?
Yeah, I know.
I'm not just saying that. Like, look, for example, they use the whale. You say the whales, they have pelves.
They have
Pelves. Pelves is a bone in the end of the whale, right? They say these two bones were two legs actually, and it was.
Yeah. I know.
And this we will open books like Biology by Rivers and Johnson, 2017 edition, 2018. This is by academics. And we have a research 50 years ago saying that the pelves of the whales are not vestigial organs. Do you know what vestigial organs are?
The organs that used to be useful and not anymore. Yeah.
They say they're not vestigial organs. They're very useful. They use it for mating. They use it for different functions. So look, they lie to you even on their own research. They say to you, look, it's useful. Okay, but let me write in 2017. It's not useful. Point is, they want to convince someone like you and many other people in the West. There's a documentary on that. It's called The Expelled. They expelled. You will see people expelled from their jobs. Professor academics excommunicated just because they deny evolution or deny any God or put God in the research. They excommunicate them. See, these people, God is against science according to them, right? So if you mention this, go away. You're not an academic, right? I'm giving you this documentary has the names of the researchers and them.
That got expelled because.
And them saying themselves, professors, they would say to you, watch it, right?
I will
So
watch.
what I'm saying to you is the reason I rejected wholesale is because every single evidence that they provide, I've looked at and I've seen a refutation.
Okay.
One by one. You know? So if there is no evidence, then why would they even look at this theory as something that would make any sense?
And why would they try so hard to go against this?
Why?
Yeah.
Why? You've got someone like Richard Dawkins, which is one of the biggest propagators for this theory in the West. It's one of the people who revived this theory in the West.
Which theory? The evolution or what?
Darwinian evolution.
Okay.
Darwinian evolution. You don't know Richard Dawkins?
Yeah. Richard Dawkins. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. Sorry. I didn't get it.
Richard is very well known, right?
Yeah.
Richard Dawkins is one of the four horsemen of atheism, right? He came. There's a video of him recording on YouTube. You can find it. He says evolution does not disprove God.
Evolution does not disprove.
But he says, but laymen like you think it does. Unlike me, I'm a layman as well. Layman in biology, he's saying, right? Think it does. I don't think that because I've done my research. But laymen, they think evolution disproves God because it disproves Adam and all of that. Now we have an answer for humans. So he says, all I have to do is to convince the layman that evolution is true and they will leave God. So when you have this group of people, atheists, called lead scientists and brought on magazines, and they're all saying this nonsense, right? Trying to convince the people with evolution with any cause because they don't want people to believe in God. I can build this case.
But why not? What is there to win for them?
Okay, first, they're atheists. They despise his religion completely. For whatever reason, maybe their own life, their own experience, right? They were Christian. He doesn't know anything about Islam anyways. Because he wrote the most recent book he wrote, he refuted Christianity. He doesn't never refuse Islam because he knows nothing about it. He generalized all religions false because they refuted Christianity. Yeah. Come on, what are you talking about, right? Point is, they have their own reasons for it. But in the West, generally, even the governments don't want people to become more religious, right? Why? The more moral you are, the more you'll be healthy in your life, the more you'll be thinking, the more you'll maybe go against the system, the more you unite. So the more stupid you are, the more drugs that you take, the more
easier to control you.
That you watch, it's easier to control, right? So there are many reasons I can give you, but the point is, the fact is what I'm telling you is that these things I'm giving you are in those science magazines that they claim disproven evolution. The same science magazines are disproving evolution by disproving their evidence.
But don't you think also that you're saying that it's a reason for them to control them, but religion isn't religion also another way to control people according to you?
That's the point. It will be if it's not true. So I've looked at the evidence for evolution and denied it based on that. What you have to do is to look at the evidence for religion. If there is no evidence for religion, then I would agree with you. Okay, it's another way to control the people. You get what I'm trying to say, right? But that's why Islam can never be a way to control the people, because it does not give the authority to the government, specific government or this or that, right? What it does is it focuses mainly on your life, focuses mainly on you as a human being. Of course, you have to obey the rules of you, so you don't have chaos.
That's the same for every religion almost, no? That it's focused on the individuals themselves.
Yes. But that's what I'm saying to you, is it would not be really a way to control the people if it's just about you focusing on bettering your life.
Yeah, that's what they say at the beginning, but then I think
that's why you have to go into the religion, right? So coming back now to Islam and the evidence of the Prophet, because we moved into evolution, I believe that we dealt with that, all right?
Okay.
Give you more. I'll give you a nice playlist that you watch on evolution, debunking one by one if you want to see it as well, right? Now, so Prophet Muhammad speaking about the future, right? Let me give you 3 or 4, or let's say around that, of predictions that were very specific. Like for example, Prophet Muhammad, when he was let me start with this before I give you those ones I'm saying about. Prophet Muhammad named the countries that will become Muslim.
Maybe which countries?
Countries that Islam will enter.
Okay.
Said Islam will enter to Egypt, Islam will enter to Syria, Lebanon, Islam will enter to Jordan, Constantinople, which is Turkey, India, Pakistan. He said Islam will reach there. And he said you will overcome the Roman and Persian Empire.
And how do you find to enter? One thing is to enter, I mean, Islam
or to take over that. When you get that country, right?
Okay.
And he said you will overcome the Roman and Persian Empire. And this is what happened in history. Now, when he was saying that,
the Roman Empire was at its biggest.
Yeah, the Eastern Roman Empire, and the Sasanian and the Byzantine at that time, right? And we overcame them, both of them, right? And the point is, Prophet Muhammad, when he was saying that day he said that he was in a battle. He was outnumbered 3-1. They were building a trench because they were coming to attack him 3-1. The Jews, he had a treaty. They were behind him in the city. They betrayed him, and he didn't know if they're going to kill the people in the city. And let him tell the people coming to kill them 3-1. And when they were building a trench, they came across a huge, massive rock. So they couldn't crash it, couldn't destroy it. So they brought the Prophet ﷺ. So he came, and when he was hitting, he hit the first one, and he said, I see Persia, I see its palaces, Islam will enter, he's saying, right? Now, in that situation, you don't even know you're going to live tomorrow now. Now today, look at the map, East and West, Islam exactly spreading in these areas, right? Also, Prophet Muhammad, when he was leaving Mecca and going to Medina because they were trying to kill him, the Meccan Arabs, they sent a bounty hunter. Bounty hunter was called Suraqa ibn Malik. Bounty hunter. They said they'll give you 100 camels, like millions now, right? If you bring us Prophet Muhammad, right? He went after the Prophet. Point is, he came close to the Prophet. His horse kept sinking in the sand, and he fell. So he realized there was something supernatural about him. So he said, I give you peace, right? Then Prophet Muhammad said to him, this is the point I'm trying to make, right? Then Prophet Muhammad said to him, would you leave us and you will hold the bracelets of the Persian king in your hand? You know, the Persian king was the most powerful man on earth at the time. A man who is traveling from Mecca to Medina, he doesn't know if he's going to live or not. The person coming to kill him.
He's promising
him the bracelets of the most powerful man. Now, how many things can go wrong with that prediction? Everything. He could die, he became a Muslim, he could die in battles, he could get a disease and die. The Muslims could not take over the Persian, which is the biggest hurdle in this story, which is to take over the Persian Empire and to take over the bracelets to begin with, right?
So these, how many people were present information in that particular scene.
Yeah,
So it's
we have something now. When you talk about history now,
Yeah.
coming to history, this is what you're trying to talk about, right? We have the highest level of authentication when it comes to historical accounts. Why? Why? Because Muslims, Western history, this is how it works. You find something, let's say you find the letter in a specific period, and you generally know that there was a king in that period called something. You find that letter, it has a signature of the same name of the king. It agrees, the information agrees roughly with the political situation. They accept that to be history, right? Muslims.
yeah. I mean, I'm not a
No,
historic, but
that's how Western history works, right?
Okay.
This is how Western history works. How does Muslim history work? We have all of that, but we have a person who was there, seeing the letter being written down. We have his name, have his biography, have every information you need to know about him. Now, that person transmitted information to another person, all the way back to today. We have every single person in the chain. We know they met each other. We know the information about them. This is our type of history. So if someone were to reject this history, which is Islamic history, he literally has to reject every other type of history in the West, because no history even paramounts to the Islamic method of authentication.
And for this specific event that you mentioned, were there witnesses?
Yeah,
or?
Umar ibn Khattab, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and the person himself, Suraq ibn Malik, right? With multiple witnesses, right? This narration comes from different people, right? And this happened at the time of Umar ibn Khattab, who was the third caliph of Islam.
Who's there?
Third caliph of Islam.
What is caliphate?
Second caliph of Islam. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ died. First person who took the leadership is called the caliph.
Okay.
It's Abu Bakr, then Umar. At the time of Umar, when they took over Persian Empire, right? He gave the bracelets in his hand because this was well known in the community. That's why other people reported it, because it was well known. Now imagine if you were alive. Would you gamble the whole? Because look, every claim you make, literally, if it's disproven, the religion is false. And every claim you make, people will say, because everyone believes you're the messenger of God. Oh, the messenger told me this, or I heard the messenger say this about that person. So anything that you say is literally the whole religion is at stake, right? So that happened exactly at the time of Umar ibn Khattab, and he held the bracelets of the Persian king, the most powerful man on earth at that time, right? Also, Prophet Muhammad made a prediction about the Romans and the Persians at 618, 19, or 20. It's in that range, right? The Surah Rum was revealed. Surah Rum is chapter 30 of the Qur'an. It was revealed before Prophet went to Medina. The Prophet went to Medina in 622. Now remember the dates, right? Let's say 618. 618, the prophecy was made. 622, the Prophet traveled to Medina. Now what happened is, when the Prophet was in Mecca in 618 and 619, 620, the Persian Empire defeated the Roman Empire. It took over Antioch, it took over Damascus, it took over Jerusalem, which was the Christian Empire. It was the holy city of the Roman Empire. Right? They completely decimated the Roman Empire. If you look at any historian, this was the end of the Roman Empire. If you will to look, the Persian king sent a letter to the Roman king calling him a dog, and you come here like this. It was completely the decimation, right? Now, what happened is, the people, the polytheists of Mecca, they used to tease the Muslims, because the Roman Empire was people of scripture, and Muslims were people of scripture. The Persian Empire were polytheists, so they said they're polytheists like us, they're defeating you, and they used to mock the Muslims. Right? Yeah. So the Bedouin Arabs mock the Muslims because other polytheists are defeating people of the book, right? So then Allah revealed in the Qur'an that those Romans that you see that are defeated, they will come back and they will defeat the Persians. In 3 to 9 years. Look at the date.
It says in 3 to 9. Wow, that's
in 3 to 9. You know the date that you're talking about, the date, right? In 3 to 9 years. By the way, the previous one was also date specific, because it was the life of that individual. So his life could die anytime.
Yeah.
It's also date specific, right? So he said in 3 to 9 years, right? And it will be in a nearby land. The Romans will defeat the Persians. What happened is, the Romans, they started their victory in the year that the Prophet traveled to Medina. 622 was the beginning of coming back. He defeated the Persians in the Red Sea, just next to Saudi Arabia, in a nearby land, right? They defeated them. By 624, they went into the heart of the Persian Empire. They defeated the Persians. They went to the heart of the Persian Empire and they destroyed the Holy Temple. Right? And then, so 624 here is 7 years. From the time of the prophecy, literally, is when the Romans defeated the Persians. And then, you can even say 9 years, going all the way back to 627, when, or 626 and 627, when the Persians were now fighting back, trying to, again, even though they were defeated, but they were still trying one last chance, and then they were defeated again. Right? So now, would he possibly know this information?
No.
And this is, look, it was the two biggest empires of the time.
It's crazy to think that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Prophet Muhammad said, for example, I'll give you the last one, right? Prophet Muhammad said, and there are many more, right? There's many more, right? Prophet Muhammad said.
No, let me ask you before you go to this one, because I don't want to keep you for forever.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay. Is there any other predictions besides, let's say, the Judgment Day that still hasn't occurred?
Yes, there are. Like
A big prediction, let's say, that is there.
I'll give you one.
Okay.
How many? For example, there's Euphrates, the river Euphrates. Prophet Muhammad says the river Euphrates will dry up. And
I've heard about this one. That now people are saying that it's starting to dry up.
It is starting to dry up. It is starting to dry up. In reality, it is starting to dry up.
Yeah.
But it doesn't only say it will dry up. It says it will dry up and it will be a mountain of gold under it and people will fight over it. So it still didn't happen, right? But it is in the process of happening, right? This is one example of the things that Prophet Muhammad said, right?
And why aren't Muslims going crazy trying to find, looking for gold or oil or whatever it is?
Because it's not a praiseworthy thing anyways.
No?
Islamically, it's not praiseworthy to be materialistic and to only care about the worldly treasures. And the hadith says that they will kill each other for it. So, and this is not something which is good at all, you know? So it's not something which Muslims should be going and doing, right? Still, and the river is big. It's not a small river. Still, you have to wait for it to dry up. And then you will see people looking. I'm sure you will see Muslims looking. There's no doubt, but it has to dry up first, right? This is one example, which is a good question to ask because it shows that it's not just we have the things that benefit us with things that happen and we hide the other things. No, but even things that didn't happen are there, right? It shows that Muslims are very meticulous and many of these predictions did not happen until recently and they will stay in our books.
And what is there that still hasn't taken place? Because this one you are telling me, but it's now starting to happen. Is there anything like...
there is a narration of the Prophet ﷺ. He said that people will be, literally they will communicate with Siba' or in this understanding, it's wild animals. Something like a lion, something like wolf, we'll be able to communicate with them. That's another prediction that didn't happen, right? I can give you more, but I'm telling you, there are ones that didn't, right? So, which is interesting to know because you can have an insight to the future, you know?
Exactly.
In a way, right? So, this is not the only evidence, by the way. There are different types of evidences as well. Like the Qur'an talking about the physical world. It talks about how life is from water, and we know everything biologically is from water, but the cells are 60 to 70% water, right? Quran talks about embryology and the baby growing every stage by stage. Yeah. Professor Keith Moore, a Christian, he said that it has to be from God, right? He's a Christian, but he said the information here is the same information I see with the telescope. But 1,400 years ago, how would he know about this, right? And you have, for example, the Quran talking about ancient history, things that are not there and was not there in the scriptures of the Jews and the Christians. Like for example, the Quran claims that Pharaoh claimed to be God, the Pharaoh at the time of Moses. We know the Pharaoh of the time of Moses was Ramses II. Okay. Sorry, I'm giving you
I trust you. I mean, I don't know any of this,
overwhelming information. But yeah, Ramses II was the Pharaoh at the time of Moses, right? According to most historians. And today in Egypt, we discovered in the temple of Abu Simbel, it was buried, we discovered in the temple of Abu Simbel, this is the name of the temple, right? Abu Simbel, yeah? We discovered that Horus and Set, which two Egyptian gods, let them walk by first. Make it like...
Maybe they are interested, no?
Yeah. So Horus and Set, which are two Egyptian gods, they're given a crown of divinity to Ramses II, right? And he was crowned to be God, literally. Now the Quran claimed that he claims to be God. The Bible didn't claim that. Yes, take one. Be careful with it, yeah? Thank you. So how would you even know this information when we couldn't read the hieroglyphics until we discovered the Rosetta Stone, right? In 1799. We couldn't even know what the Egyptians believed. And this was not in the scriptures of the people of the book. And many examples like that I can give, right? But I don't want to be too long, right? I'll give you a few videos that has the information I was talking about, right? Then you can look at it, research it, and all of that. This is a good channel. It's called Many Prophets, One Message. Yeah? It has a good video about the predictions of the future. Right? Let me just subscribe, maybe. I'll try to put it for you. It's not my channel, yeah. So I'm not subscribing for myself. Don't worry. Look, let me just go to the. Okay, Qur'an Secrets of Babylon. You can watch this one, right? Mind-blowing.
So this
one, mind-blowing prophecies of Prophet Muhammad. It will have references as well, right? And there was something in Egypt, the Quran and ancient Egypt, right? Quran Secrets of Egypt, right? Watch these ones. It will give you references, and then let me give you one thing about evolution, right?
Yeah, for sure. Go for it.
Yes. Okay, this is Dr. Iyad Quraibi. He's got a beautiful channel here, right?
Yeah, you can subscribe. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will. So I will. Yeah.
There's videos. Look at the videos that talk about evolution, right? It's not. He has a big series. It's not all translated yet, but many of episodes are translated. Look at these episodes. I think even the one about the genome, 99%, as you were talking about.
Yeah.
It's translated. You
Okay,
find it there, right?
I will.
So, after doing your research, if this information is true, would you agree that that is reasonable to assume, and this is some of the, or reasonable to say, sorry,
Yeah.
that this is from the creator, or it would make sense for someone to.
It would be enough for me to think and keep going. Yeah.
Okay, but you have to have you have to have a place in which you say
A threshold.
Yeah, this is now the point, right?
Yeah.
So I would advise you to ponder on that, because sometimes Satan will just make you take more and more time for no reason, right? If there is enough evidence or enough to say that he could not have known this information, it would make sense to accept.
Indeed, I think that's the threshold. Like,
Okay, yeah. So it's sometimes different for different people, right? So I like you being rational, which is good, right? Do you have any other questions for me?
no, I think that's
problem.
great. I don't want to take any more.
No problem. Always pleasure talking to you. Anytime, come back. Same day, same time. If you have any questions, if you did find out something and you want to confirmation, I can easily answer it.
Find a few things to worry you about. But
You're not from here though, isn't it? Yeah, maybe you'll come another.
no, but I'm living in.
You know, I have the email. Just email me. You have my email, yeah? Pleasure talking to you, man.